Just educate us.
There we go. Okay, it's going.
God, Taylor's got a nice bag.
Did you all know that 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated, or that 37% mistake their thirst mechanism in their brain for hunger? Well, I'm Kylie White, and I'm here to educate you all on dehydration and overhydration and the symptoms of both of them and how to prevent them. This past summer, I worked at Earbuds Sport Earphones, where I created a heart rate or a hydration monitor that went with a heart rate monitor for Coach Earbuds. I had to do a lot of extensive research on hydration, and during that I learned that the symptoms of dehydration are dry mouth, fatigue, headache. There's also decreased urine output and lightheadedness. And these are all important signs to keep a lookout for. And if you're ever feeling those, you should just consume more water. However, you should not chug water to become hydrated. You should drink it over a certain amount of time regularly. Additionally, if you do not drink water for 7 days, which I'm sure a lot of you have already heard, it actually leads to death. And whenever you're exercising as well, you become obviously dehydrated a lot faster from sweating. So if you were to also be doing strenuous activities, that could be shorter. So I think most people don't have an issue with not drinking for 7 days straight, but just in case. Then the side effects the symptoms of overhydration or hyponatremia, which a lot of people actually do not know about at all. Whenever I first started researching, I hadn't really heard of it. Are headache, nausea, fatigue, lightheadedness, and you can also get seizures or eventually fall into a coma. So it's very severe. And it's very similar to dehydration, the symptoms. So it's important to make sure you know which one is which. I know that a lot of marathon runners suffer from hyponatremia. So they're just drinking too often while they're running because they're worried about being dehydrated. Then they get to the end of the race and the EMTs there think that they're dehydrated, and so they give them more water, and then they end up dying because they weren't treated for the correct illness. And I also know that there was a California woman a couple years ago that died during a radio contest where she had to drink large quantities of water, and they didn't know the side effects or what can happen with that, and she ended up passing away later on that day. So it's very serious, and it's something to definitely keep track of. A lot of people, especially when they're exercising, tend to overdo it, so keep that in mind. Also, some people try to say that having clear urine means that you're hydrated, and that's definitely not true. You never want to have clear urine because that means that it's that you're probably overhydrated and you need to cut back on how much you're consuming. You want it to be like a pale yellow, and if it's a very deep yellow, then you're probably dehydrated. The best way to determine this is to check the color in the morning right after you wake up, and that's the best estimate of how hydrated or dehydrated you are. In order to prevent these, dehydration and hyponatremia, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, it's good to follow the 8x8 rule, or the 8 ounces of water per day. Sometimes they also go by weight, but that's kind of up in the air. Really, it's normally to drink when you're thirsty, but some people have trouble with their thirst mechanisms actually working because they've suppressed it for so long that their brain doesn't really register anymore. So I think it's important to just keep a water bottle with you constantly, like if you're in class or if you're working, whatever it is that you're doing. Actually, over the summer, while I was working for Earbuds, I like to keep a water bottle next to me the whole time, so I could be sure to just sip out of it every once in a while and not chug, like I said, because that does not hydrate you. And eventually, by the end of the summer, I got used to drinking at least 64 ounces of water a day. And my brain would actually tell me when I was thirsty, and I was thirsty more often. And it started to register when I was thirsty again, rather than thinking I was hungry. So I definitely recommend doing that. And if you have an active lifestyle, like I said earlier, you should definitely drink while you're exercising, whether it be running, lifting, cycling, whatever it is. However, if you're doing high endurance sports where you're running or cycling long distances, like training for a marathon or half marathon, it's important to also drink sports drinks like Gatorade or Powerade in order to replenish your electrolytes. So if you were to actually want to do something like that and train for something like that, you'd have to do more research into how much of each you'd need. But all in all, it's over this last summer with Earbuds, I definitely learned a lot about hydration that I didn't even know about, like overhydration, and I hope that I was able to educate you all on those things and prevent you from being dehydrated or overhydrated, or potentially motivating you guys to drink more water throughout the day. Thank you.